And in 3, 2, 1. And thank you for tuning in to Bridge Podcast. Today we have another special guest, someone who's big into politics. If you're into Morris County, New Jersey politics, then you probably know her name. Also happens to be my mother. But today we're talking about January 6th. I introduced Karen Arakelian. You have the floor if you want to introduce yourself. Say hello.
Hi, I'm Karen Arakelian, and I've been a passionate conservative Republican for a long time, and January 6th was a really historic, emotional day for me.
Yeah, for sure. Now, not many people know you were there. You credit that to not having service because you love to post on Facebook.
Right.
But you haven't really shared anything about it since that day. Why is that?
Well, I didn't feel safe to share it until President Trump got back into office. So I felt very blessed because I am a poster and I would have been posting constantly if there was reception. But since everyone was trying to get onto the internet, there was no reception. So I really feel like God protected me by not letting anyone know I was there.
Yeah, well, yeah, you could have gotten in trouble if so. Let's show some proof that you were there. So we have some photos that you provided for us. That's the Capitol building itself. That was at the end of the trip, right?
Yeah, well, at the end of the day, like the middle of the day, you see all the people up on the wall there. But it was very peaceful. There's another one that's a cross, and it's in Hebrew. It was a mixture of Christians, Jews, everyone. There are people from every state, and just passionate about getting a fair election.
Yeah.
That's all we were there to do. We were there just to get a couple of days more to research what really happened.
So you weren't there to storm the Capitol.
No, if we were, we probably would have brought weapons.
Explain this one. You said this was your favorite.
That's my favorite because everyone calls President Trump a racist. This little boy and his family, they were so proud to be there, and he was on his father's shoulders and carrying the American flag and just loving Trump.
Yeah, wow. All right, well, we have more pictures to show, but before that, so what can you tell us about your experience on Jan 6? Set the scene here a little bit.
Well, we were very excited to be there to fight, not physically, but to fight to get some answers to the election that we just couldn't understand, where 80 million votes came for Biden. And as in retrospect, we were right. There probably weren't 80 million votes for Biden. So I guess we were supposed to be at the ellipse. What is it called? The ellipse, whatever it was, where President Trump was going to speak at 9:00 in the morning. Of course, he was late as usual, an hour or two. And we were there, and the ground was freezing cold. It was probably 20 degrees and cloudy.
Who were you with?
I was
with any specific groups or just?
No group. We just a bunch of passionate women. It was all women. We went. I was with actually the vice chair of one of our county committees. I can't say the county, but she came with me in my car, and we had lots and lots of other people from North Jersey, a lot of people from New Jersey, busloads from New Jersey, but we were there on our own. And we ran into, very unexpectedly, I ran into a cousin who lives in South Jersey, didn't even know she was going.
Yeah. Real hardened criminals, these guys.
Real hardened criminals. And then one of my, actually the pastor of care at a very major church in New Jersey was there. And during when people, it was on TV and they were showing evangelical signs, and the pastor of her church posted that it was no place for evangelicals, which was really heartbreaking because any place that there's people is a place for evangelicals. And there were many, many,
yeah, that's
many
weird
there.
To say.
As a pastor, it's very weird to say. He later pulled it down and lost half of his congregation.
So hang on, a little background for people that don't know. So a pastor of a church here in New Jersey, we won't say which church, made this comment that protests are no place for evangelicals, but at the same time, his head of what was there?
Pastor of care was there. Ran into her in the crowd.
Yeah, that makes...
Did they know that this person was there?
No, I'm sure he didn't. I'm sure he didn't.
Pretty hypocritical.
But, a lot of people keep politics out of their place of work.
Yeah.
So, who knows? So now that we know you were with hardened seasoned criminals, did you see any violence while you were there?
No, nothing at all. The
Nothing.
only thing I did see was when Antifa Antifa was at the end. We were told we had to evacuate the Trump Hotel because Antifa was supposedly coming to attack it. And that was really scary. We had to be escorted out with, our cars, and it just really was really scary.
Escorted out? What do you mean? Can you elaborate?
They had all the roads closed, so they had to open up gates and let us out.
Yeah.
So they were just trying to protect the hotel and the people in it.
Yeah. Wow.
That was the only violence I saw. It was on the other side.
But you did see some other sketchy stuff. You once told me you saw some activity behind some trees, or what? You saw?
Yes, we saw men changing out of black garb into Trump gear, and I was thinking, boy, they're crazy. It's 20 degrees. Why didn't they just change on the bus? It ends up they were Antifa changing into Trump clothes.
Yep. Wow.
Which we had no idea.
In the moment, you wouldn't know that,
We
right?
had no idea. But in retrospect,
only thing you thought in the moment was, "Wow, these jerk-offs must be cold." Pardon my French, but yeah, no, it's amazing looking back at that day, all the things that had to happen. It was, definitely a setup, in my opinion. Did you witness anybody get arrested? You or any of your friends? I know there were a lot of arrests made.
No.
You didn't see any of that?
No. After the fact, I found out that my friend that has the Walkaway campaign, Brandon Strzok, was videoing and never even went into the Capitol. And he was arrested later. I mean, not that day, but later. And accused of insurrection, and actually did nothing, but it ruined his life.
Yeah.
But he's back.
Now, they were able to get him because he recorded?
He was recording just what was going on, and there was absolutely nothing violent going on. So they didn't, with his, I think, 1 million followers, they didn't want that getting out there. Actually, we didn't know then, but now we know. They didn't want all that peaceful, beautiful, emotional, just protests going on.
So
they didn't want that video out there.
That's the theory. Mm-hmm. Yeah, no. Why would they want that out there? I believe it.
They didn't want anything challenging the narrative.
Yep. All right. What else? So you, personally, did you go to the Capitol? I guess you did go to the building because we just saw that picture, but did you go inside?
No, absolutely not. I didn't. It was so cold. I ended up going back to the Trump Hotel to get warm, to be perfectly honest.
Would you feel safe enough to admit if you did?
Yes, I would definitely. At this point now.
Under a Trump administration.
But my 75-year-old friend texted me from the building, and she said, "I'm on the wall."
What do you mean?
She went up and walked on the wall. I mean, she was 75 years old. She wasn't armed, and she wasn't angry.
So she must have climbed over like 4 or 5 guards.
Well, she was
to get in there.
Yeah, no, they actually opened the gate. That we did. That my friends did see. I wasn't there, but they were just opening the ropes and inviting everybody in. So
well, you see the video. There's a viral video of a security guard or something. Mm-hmm. He's in gear and he's telling some protester, go in this window, and the protester refuses. So this cop doesn't know he's being recorded. He starts to rip off like panels off the window. When he realizes he's being recorded, he starts blaming the nearby protester and pushing him into a crowd. It's just ridiculous. It's, and again, I guess, I don't know how nobody saw it in the moment.
Did you ever see that video? If I could find it, we could put it in the clip. Did you ever see that video where they were inside? I don't know what part of the building they were in, but they were inside, and they had a camera crew, and then there was someone filming from the staircase, and they had one of the Capitol Police officers just waiting in the hallway. They had a bunch of protesters waiting because it was a hallway like this, and there was a bunch of protesters waiting here in the archway, and they staged this whole thing, and his baton was on the floor, and then like, all right, go. And then all of a sudden, the protesters run through the door. He pretends like he's freaking out and trying to grab his baton, turns around and runs up the staircase, and then turns around to look at them halfway on the staircase, like they're trying to beat him. And then he runs up the stairs and they're chasing him, and the whole thing was just planned out.
I don't remember
seeing
that.
See if I can find
there's
that.
a lot.
Sounds like a blooper.
A lot
that you'd see of a movie.
Exactly.
Yeah. Let's see what else. That's the cross. We
Mhm.
saw that already, right? I
Mhm.
believe.
Yeah.
Right. Tell us about this.
That is, I was in the Trump Hotel and that came on the TV just as we were ready to leave and go over to the Capitol building. We said, yeah, maybe we better not do that.
Mm,
So,
wow. Yeah, scary. It is. What's going on here? Just people in the trees?
that was Patriots in the Trees singing Amazing Grace.
You're
It
kidding.
was just a very beautiful, beautiful, patriotic event. And we were waiting for President Trump to come out, and people were
I
singing.
was ready to hear a war story.
They were singing the Star
Normandy
Spangled
Beach, people
Banner.
storming
They
into
were
the-
singing Amazing Grace. They had little dogs in their backpacks. They had children in strollers.
Let's get to the dogs, huh?
They had,
There
there's
we
a little
go.
doggy with the little Make America Great Again hat. He was in a stroller.
Seasoned
So
criminal.
we were not, it's almost an insult to think that they're calling this an insurrection and we'd be stupid enough not to go with weapons.
Yeah.
You don't have an insurrection
Well,
with little dogs in
Trump
backpacks.
is suing what, NBC for $20 million or what is it?
I don't know.
There's a lot of lawsuits.
Because they like completely edited that clip.
Oh,
saying,
the-
we're
that
going
was
to
British
BB
broadcast.
that was the
That's
BBC.
British
BBC,
broadcasting.
yep, sorry.
British
1 to $5
broadcasting.
billion.
Yeah.
That's just,
Good.
it's
$billion.
crazy. It's so different. You see the side by side. It's like, that's not what he said.
Mm.
Not what he said. Another dog.
They didn't have
Yeah.
a problem
Oh, man.
altering
There were
Kamala's video, though.
children, there
Yeah.
were dogs, there were lots of old ladies like me. We were just very
Amazing.
cold. We had our masks on because it was still January of 21 was still supposedly COVID. And we had masks and we had hats and
Yeah, it's freezing, right?
but no weapons, that's for sure.
Now,
no weapons.
one time you told me that you heard reports that people were spraying the ground with water before.
Well, yeah, we heard that we were so cold because the ground had been wet in the morning, I guess before or during the night. The ground by the ellipse was wet down so that it would be very cold.
Well, I would
And it
assume
was
that
very
if
cold.
they were spraying hose water on the ground before the event, that would be to make people slip. And then what happens
No, it
then?
wasn't icy. It was just very cold.
Yeah,
very,
yeah.
very cold and wet.
Wasn't that on video? Or there was a
That they
report
were-
about that?
I don't
About
know.
the-
I didn't see it. I didn't
Of them
see it.
spraying the ground?
Yeah.
It's just what I was told.
Maybe
I didn't-
that's where I
that's
heard it.
hearsay. I can't swear to it, but I
Yeah.
can just tell you that
You
my
didn't see it.
legs were ice cold.
You didn't see it.
I
You
didn't see it.
All right, fair enough. Let's see. We have a video loaded up. Here's what you did see. No, I don't want to add. And this is going to
Hit
be,
play on the underneath it.
there it is. It's just blocking me out. That's okay. Let's watch it.
Marines back there! They're just Marines back there! There's the Marines! Let's go, Marines!
It's from the trees. Look, that's the tree that you just had the picture. That we just saw the picture of. Wow.
It's crazy to think that was 5 years ago.
Yeah,
Yeah.
almost.
Or, yeah.
Well, a day that's marked in history, that has gone and will continue to go down in history. Now, whether as the biggest hoax or an insurrection, we'll let you guys decide. We say a hoax, but
Isn't it funny that they call it insurrection, but I'm like, President Trump was still in office. What was he having, an insurrection against himself? Like, that's, and no weapons, that's like the dumbest thing ever.
because it was at the end of his term, right?
Yeah, but the other interesting thing was that President Trump had asked for the National Guard to be there, and Nancy Pelosi refused to send them.
And she admitted
And
it
why
on,
was
on
that?
camera. But then the other day, remember, she freaked out at that reporter. I don't know if you saw that.
Mm.
She's like, "That wasn't me." But she said it
Mhm.
because her daughter was there that day filming, coincidentally, right, for her
Hmm.
her documentary.
There was a lot of fishy things. The mayor closed all the restaurants, so we couldn't get food.
Really?
Another
Oh, wow.
good thing, another way I felt blessed because we couldn't even use our credit cards because there was no place to buy any food. But Bank of America apparently went after people who charged things in Washington that day, and
Yeah, it was over a course, I think, of like
we're
3
turning
days.
him in for being there. So
Crazy.
I'm
crazy
done with Bank
times.
of America.
Are you actually?
Actually, yes.
You don't have a Bank of America?
Nope,
No?
not anymore. I had a lot of them.
I'm
but I
looking
don't
for a new
anymore.
bank.
I have one. It's called Under Your Mattress.
Yeah, no, it's not a great bank.
Mm,
But now I know where I'm gonna.
not go.
No. Yeah, no, I appreciate you coming on and sharing this stuff with us. Anything else you want to tell us about your experience on Jan 6th? What was out of the whole experience? What's something that stuck out the most to you that you'll
What
take with you
stuck
forever?
out the most was that parents found it important enough to bring their children from California, from Texas, from Alaska. We ran into people from Alaska because they wanted to fight for President Trump.
Mm-hmm.
And again, not physically fight, but just as President Trump asked us to do, peacefully and patriotically march on the Capitol to ask for a few days. I think it was 10 days we were asking for to just figure out what really happened in the election.
Yeah.
But in retrospect,
Mm-hmm.
we needed these 4 years to get everything together, to get all the things done that we are now getting done with President Trump being reelected. So
Yeah.
God was in control.
Now I know. I think it was more recently it came out. I sent you a video of. I didn't know at the time, but his name is Ray Epps.
Mhm.
Who he just looks like a Fed. I mean, if you see him, he's got short hair. I mean, he looks like a retired cop or something. And he's in front of crowds and crowds of people saying, "We're taking the fight to the Capitol. Once Trump's done speaking, we're heading on out. We'll see you over there." He kept saying, "We're taking this fight to the Capitol."
Mhm.
What do you have to say? What do you think of that? Who do you think that was? What
I
were
think
his
that he
intentions?
absolutely worked for the other side.
Okay.
I'm sure.
So it wasn't
Has
genuine.
to be.
People were chanting,
Not
"He's
genuine.
a Fed, he's a Fed!" Like
Well,
in
yeah,
the
yeah.
crowd.
Not
Yeah, you
genuine.
hear-
And people were saying, no, we're not going in.
Yes,
But then
yeah.
when they opened the ropes and invited everybody in, they thought it was okay.
Yeah,
But
people
it was
worked
very well orchestrated. I have to hand it to them. They orchestrated this very, very, very carefully and very well.
People were calling him a Fed.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. And he wasn't he a government asset? He was some kind of informant, right?
I believe so.
Yeah. Ridiculous,
How long were you there?
We came on, and it was funny because I was just checking back texts with my 75-year-old friend to see if she had any input. And she's the one that was on the wall. Sent me the text saying she was on the wall. We were there from Tuesday to Thursday. So I assume it was from the 5th we were supposed to stay till the 7th, but we had to evacuate the hotel, so we left.
Yeah. Wow.
What was the atmosphere like?
It was beautiful. It was everyone. Oh, and I had my signs. I had signs made. Do you have my signs? Pictures of my signs?
Did you give me him?
Yeah, I think so.
Let me see.
It was. I had signs made that said "Jersey girls fight for Trump," and then I don't remember what the other one said. But people were all taking pictures with us. It was they loved them. They loved the Jersey girl signs.
I don't know if I'll be able to find it.
You can always put
Okay.
those in.
Yeah, it's all right. I
Mhm.
can add them in. You should have brought one with you. You still have them?
No, we left everything. We ran. We
Yeah.
ran. We just left out of the
Yeah.
hotel.
Wow, what a bummer.
Yeah.
No souvenirs
Mm-mm.
or evidence, as some would say.
What about the law enforcement? Like, did you have any encounters with any cops or Capitol
No.
Police or anything?
No. Mm-mm. There wasn't any violence. There was nothing that I saw. Nothing.
Yeah. And you didn't see
Nothing. I
anybody
just
get
saw
arrested?
lots of very passionate people who we felt we were saving the country.
Yeah.
That's what just
And then
the
you saw-
sentiment
You didn't
of
see anybody like Mike Epps inciting violence?
Ray Epps.
Ray Epps, sorry.
I didn't see
Said
him.
Mike.
No.
For some reason I have Mike stuck in my head.
No.
But, yeah.
No. Mm-mm.
How do you think it got so out of hand with the media? The video I saw and all the pictures, they paint a completely different picture. So
That's their job.
they were so confident, like they knew they were going to get away with it. But you have hundreds of thousands of witnesses that say otherwise. And it's like, it says something about the consumer, right? People are so quick to believe it. It's like you could have 100,000 people saying, no, that's not what happened. But if their favorite news channel says it is, people will believe it. And I think that with a lot of topics today, not just regarding January 6th. But that we don't have to get into it.
Did you meet anybody cool that day? Did you have any cool conversations with anybody that you can recall? Or
You've met Brandon.
Well, we met Mike Pompeo. Donald Trump Jr. They were all staying at our hotel, so
neat.
We talked to them all. Mike Lindell, everybody was there. It was just really quite a day.
Yeah,
quite a day.
And then you've
but the most
became
interesting.
friends with Brandon Schaefer after, right?
Who?
Brandon
Strzok? No, I was already friends with him, but I didn't see him. He was at the Capitol building videoing. We were back at the hotel. But an interesting thing was I saw a guy standing next to me, a kid standing next to me with a backpack with a Texas star on it. And I asked him if he was from Texas. He goes, yeah, I'm from Texas, but we just moved to New Jersey and we're still friends. He moved to Mountain Lakes, which is like 2 towns over from here. So that was pretty interesting.
Why'd he move to New Jersey from Texas?
He got transferred here. The father got transferred here.
I'd be crying.
I was going to say, poor kid. People are going from Jersey to Texas, not the other way around.
Yeah. Mm-hmm. Just a lot of great conversations. The day before, we were at the Freedom Plaza, and they had a giant American flag over the heads of everybody. It was just beautiful.
Yeah. Now, you were there when Trump actually spoke, right?
Yes,
that's
absolutely.
why you went.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Anything in his speech that incited violence?
No, nothing at all.
Anything that could be interpreted as such?
Nope.
No?
Not a thing. Just explaining what we were there for. We just wanted a few days to figure out. We had a pretty good idea that the election was stolen. And again, looking back now, it's pretty much for sure. But it's okay. It had to be that way. So
isn't 80 million votes isn't that like the most in history?
Yeah.
Yeah, and for Biden, it just can't
for the
be.
worst president in history.
Can't be.
Now they admit that he had dementia or something.
Yeah,
they didn't want to admit it then, though.
He had it then.
Yeah.
He stayed in the basement.
Nobody was willing to admit it.
They orchestrated the whole thing from COVID on. They used COVID to get mail-in ballots. It's a brilliant scheme. It's a brilliant scheme. It'll go down in the history books as one of the most brilliant schemes ever. So I have to hand that to them. But
hand that to the Democrats.
Yes. Not all the Democrats, just the evil ones.
Would you say there's evil Republicans as well?
Probably.
What do you think of Billy Prempeh, who our last week's guest was?
I think he's a fighter. I don't really know him that well.
Mm-hmm. You think he would be good for the city of Paterson?
I don't know. I guess.
I do. I think his heart's in the right place, and that's half the battle.
Mm-hmm.
I think the nice thing about Billy is that he's from there. And
he's there, and he sees the community.
And he's always out there. Like if you go on his Instagram, he's live streaming, or if there's something wrong or something, he's not afraid to call people out and just kind of go right to the fight, go right down to the council meeting and get up to that podium and start speaking.
He's genuine. Yeah.
It's kind of a nice thing.
He's genuine. He really cares.
And a lot of politicians don't do that.
I can't think of many at all.
So today's the first time you've ever spoken about this to anybody, or
publicly? Yeah, just
because I was going to ask how attending it kind of influenced your your social circles or anything, if it has. But I guess
no, not really. I mean, people know me and they know I do what I have to do and I get involved. So like people that know me well knew I went, but I never would tell just any random people because we didn't know what was going to happen. I mean, they threw Brandon Strzok in jail for videoing.
Next thing you know, you tell the wrong person.
I had great pictures. I wasn't going to risk losing my pictures.
Next thing you know, they're knocking at your door.
Exactly. They took people from New Jersey. They grabbed people from New Jersey.
Anybody you know personally, like that people that you went with that got arrested after the fact?
No.
I knew a couple.
You did?
Yeah, it was that because I've have friends in the J6 community, and going to events and wound up meeting some of these people. It was a couple, and they were waiting when I met them. They were waiting on their sentencing date. I think in like a couple weeks they knew they were going to get sentenced, and they were waiting. I don't know whatever happened with that situation.
Wow.
But I do know a couple people that were in jail.
Mm-hmm.
It's sad, because they didn't do anything wrong. They were just there.
Yeah.
That's not a crime being there. I mean, it's the people's house.
Yeah.
Now, so for anybody that doesn't know, how were you involved in politics here in New Jersey? Or I know you were big and you knocked on doors during the 2020 election.
I just work for. I would never run for office, but I try to work for the candidates that I feel are the most, the ones that really care about the people. Usually, it's the more conservative and not connected ones. So I don't win a lot of elections, but I pick who I think is the best person for the people, and I work hard for them.
As we all should,
Yeah, more people need to do that.
We do have a duty to make sure the information that we're receiving is valid, that we're not being lied to or deceived in any capacity.
And that happens a lot.
I think more than we know. I think it happens to us even when we don't want to admit it, and it happens to the people that we believe. We're all human. We all fall short of Jesus Christ. So, Sebastian, did you have anything else? Sorry, we don't.
I want to ask you how the event of January 6th, how did it shape your trust in institutions like the media and the government, especially after the aftermath of everything?
Yeah.
What's your opinion on that, and how do you feel now, 5 years later, almost 5 years later?
Yeah, it just proved to me that the media is not, you can't believe everything you see. And I learned that a long time ago. I had a property that my store was in, and it got flooded, and I was interviewed.
Just for people that don't know, what do you do?
I'm in the furniture business.
Okay, and you own your own furniture stores.
Yes. So in 1984, we had our first flood, and I didn't have flood insurance. So fast forward many years later, different property, different store, interviewed on probably Channel 12, and I was asked about the flood. And I said, well, at least I had flood insurance, not like 1984 when I didn't have flood insurance.
I remember this, yeah.
So what they did was they only said I didn't have flood insurance. I was getting calls from people all over the country asking me if I was okay because I didn't have flood insurance. I'm like, I never said that. I said it wasn't like 84 when I didn't have flood insurance. I started to doubt the media then. And after January 6th, I don't believe a word they say.
Yep. I mean, that's exactly what they did to Trump with his speech. They just, they take it completely out of context. So it goes from, well, thank God it's not like I didn't have flood insurance, and it turns into I didn't have flood insurance.
Right.
Right. It's scary, man. That's why you got to be careful what you say on the internet too. But who cares if you're operating on truths? Then it shouldn't really matter. You can operate in the dark. The light can operate in the dark.
You think there's anything positive that came about that day and the events in your mind that you can think of?
Do I think there's anything positive? What do you think?
Well, just like what you said, it kind of opened your eyes to the deception of the media, and I think it did for a lot of other people too. But
a lot of people believe it. Well,
it further divided people. So is that a good thing at the end of the day?
No, it's not. It's not.
Well, yeah. How do we bridge that gap? It's tough.
It's the age-old question.
Charlie
the
said,
anger has to stop. People have to start to see what the other side is trying to accomplish.
Charlie said we just have to talk to each other.
Yeah.
People don't want to talk, though. I mean, I even see Republicans that don't want to talk on certain topics with me. On things that we disagree, me with other Republicans that disagree on certain topics. They are like unwilling to talk or even, entertain certain ideas. And it's like, okay. Kind of a liberal mindset, if you ask me. All right. So we went over who you were with, what you saw. Did you see any violence? Just trying to recap. What else? I think we pretty much covered all the bases. Anything else you want viewers to know about January 6th, or anything? You have any message for anybody listening?
Just political message? Don't believe everything you hear.
Yeah, okay. We can make that the tagline.
Yeah.
We'll make that the title of the video. Don't believe everything you hear unless you hear it from Bridge.
Unless you hear it from Karen directly.
Yeah. That's right.
There were
should've-
lots of us there.
I should have started the episode with, tonight we have Karen, but not that kind of Karen. Don't worry. She's not the she's the exception, not the rule.
Oh, that's not nice. Most Karens are fine.
All right. Well, thank you. Thank you for coming on, Mom, not
You're
Karen.
welcome.
I appreciate you
welcome.
doing this. And, you know,
Thanks, Mom.
yeah, it does. It
Two
can be,
great young men here.
it can be scary, you know, talking about something that it happened so long ago. So it's hard to recall the details. I know I've been asking for the last few days, try to think back on what you saw.
I remember every minute.
But it's important to talk about these things.
Mm.
Next time, don't be afraid. I mean, if your life's in danger, that's one thing, but it's, what did that sign? Let's pull it up. We'll end it with this. It was one of the last ones I added in here. Let's see.
Oh, I know which one you mean.
Yep. Not the dogs. Come on.
No,
Right there.
That one.
Evil triumphs when good men do nothing.
It's very true.
That's like even the Holocaust. People didn't know what to do.
This right
They
here.
were afraid.
Right there.
Mhm.
Yep. Well, there we go. So next time, don't be afraid to say that thought. Say the quiet part out loud once in a while. All right. As usual, thank you. Anybody have Sebastian, anything else? We're good to close
I
out.
don't think so. I think we're all set. Thank you, Karen.
Guys.
Once again, thank you for coming on. Thank you, Sebastian, as always. And thank all you guys watching. We appreciate it. Please give this a like and hit subscribe if you enjoyed what you heard today. You could find us on Instagram at Bridge.American or on Twitter at Bridge_America. Thank you very much. Till next time.